Hello, hi everyone. If
Hi,
you're here
hello,
yet,
hi.
if you're not here yet, just listen to it later. And welcome to episode 183 of the Game Brew Podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast, where we sip delicious bevs and discuss video games. I'm your host, Dan Jalen Hurts Rotz, and I'm joined by Chris Saquon Barkley Wrights,
I like getting all the yards.
Gray AJ Brown Manstash,
Oh, I need it back.
and and Allison Connor DeJean Van Dievender.
Is this a sports reference, I'm assuming?
Yes. It's Dijon, like the mustard.
Yes.
It's not Dijon. It's actually DeJean. It's Connor DeJean.
That's not like the mustard, Dan.
It's not like the mustard, no. But that 20-year-old white boy scored a touchdown in the.
Sure did. He sure did.
He's got
Hold on. Why am I the
superb
20-year-old white boy?
because
You're the
we all
youngest?
love him. Because everybody loves him. Because he was
Oh, do
20
they?
and he scored a pick six, so he intercepted it and ran it in for the touchdown. And it was on his
Pretty
birthday.
cool.
It was
And
on his birthday.
Happy
Oh.
birthday to him.
I think
Yeah,
he's
he
like
did
22.
have
I
a-
don't
He
think
had
he's 20.
quite a happy birthday.
He did.
Yeah.
Considering he's on defense, so it was like so
It's extra cool.
So it's
Yeah.
extra cool. And those are all the names of Eagles who won the Super Bowl. Go Birds. On this episode of the Game Brew Podcast, we asked the question, where do the biggest games go to throw down? But first, it's time for a bev. Chris,
Yes.
of what do we imbibe this eve, good sir?
This eve, I'm imbibing the nectar of Baltimore, which is National Bohemian Beer.
Nice.
In honor of a slightly silly choice that I made yesterday. I ended up getting a Mr. Bo tattoo, so that's this little guy right here. Got that on my leg now
Do you? I think
Yeah.
that's perfect. Why do you feel
Uh,
like it's a silly choice?
because it's a corporate logo on my body.
Okay,
Hey.
that's fair.
They can't sue you.
Listen, at
Oh,
least you're not the human embodiment of Subway, like in Community.
that's
Mm.
right. I forgot.
Subway.
Subway the guy.
So yeah, I don't know. Like National Bohemian's always been, well, not always, but like it's been a thing for a long time in Baltimore. They don't brew it in Baltimore anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
I know they don't, but I think they sell probably 90% of the National Bohemian that's brewed in Baltimore. So like it's associated with the Ravens, the Orioles, just eating crabs, everything, and it's like it's pretty similar to PBR. It's actually made by PBR. It probably is the same as PBR, but PBR doesn't come with a cool little guy on it. So
You heard it
There
here,
you go.
folks. PBR doesn't come.
something like that.
I can't wait. I can't wait to get
Oh,
that.
dang it.
But yeah,
hard
no,
to flip on here.
it's a pretty standard golden lager. It's like 4.5%. It's like water, but it's good water.
It's the best water.
Mm-hmm.
It's Natty Bo.
That's right.
They should make that their new slogan. It's the best water. It's Natty Bo.
No, theirs is live pleasantly because it's from the land of pleasant living, which is Baltimore.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
There you
Gray,
go.
Gray Man, our wonderful fourth host for this evening. What beverage doth thou bringest to thine lips to entice
to
and
invite.
wet their whistle?
Well, it's a bit nasty, but I want to try this.
Oh, that is some nasty.
I was like, it's nasty.
Interesting.
Nasty beast. The hard
Nasty
tea.
beast.
It's fun that they're getting into alcoholic beverages.
That's kind of why I wanted to try it.
I like the hard monster. I do like that one.
You like
So-
a hard monster. Got it.
Do you like normal
Phrasing.
monster?
Phrasing.
Yes, I do. So that's also.
See,
Mm.
that's the thing. I don't think I'd like the hard
Those-
monster, but I like hard teas.
Okay.
So, what do you think of this? Like, is it monstery or is it just like a nice hard tea?
I mean, it's tasty for a hard tea, that's for sure. But I would say that they probably mixed like, I don't know if you've ever had one of their like refreshers, the
Mhm.
refresher peach tea.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they took a refresher peach tea and then put a little smack in it, basically. So
Smack it.
Little smack. They basically got nasty with it, and that's why it's the nasty beast.
Nice. Get nasty.
I haven't had one of the peach teas, but I will find that hopefully. I don't know anymore. It's hard to find everything here.
It's very
I would-
smooth.
Yeah, because I want to
Smooth.
try it.
Oh, I forgot. Well, first, Gray, chuggability rating.
Oh shit.
Oh, I mean, 10, 100%. If I didn't know it was like a hard beverage, I would just assume somebody like lightly spiked some Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. That's how it's pronounced.
Bernard Permer.
Nice, very good, very good. Chris, what was the chuggability? What's the Natty Boast chuggability?
11 out of 10.
Or 11 out of
Nice.
10. I don't know when we got into a number system. It wasn't a number system.
Over 9,000, Dan. It's
So-
over
It was
9,000.
Allison
I was
who
gonna say.
forced the
I
number
think,
system.
I think Allison was like, "Wait, is it numbers?" And then I was like, "No." And then
It's
everyone
whatever you
just
want it
does
to be.
numbers. It's,
But then I wanted it to be numbers because
So
I
it's
am
numbers.
very
so it's
They
numbers.
needed it.
I'm very static. I need those things for controls.
All right.
Let
Well,
me put it this way. I've had 5 or 6 of these today, and I don't feel anything.
yes,
He's actually just more hydrated.
that's how I feel. That's how I feel because I was drinking Yingling during the Super Bowl, and I was like, I had like 7, and I was just like, I'm good. This is fine.
Well, this is fine.
This is fine. The Allison, do you have liquid nourishment which you
Liquid
shall
nourishment.
you shall add to your personage this eve?
I do. So again, ran up here with 2 minutes. So I have just a bottle of Bailey's churros.
creamy.
Bailey's churros.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a limited edition and it's a little airplane bottle. Whenever I go to the liquor store, I try to find interesting things to try on here. And this was one that I actually meant to try for like a more seasonal thing, you know, it felt fall and it's just kind of chilled.
You could have saved
Unintended
it till
in
May.
my fridge.
Yeah. You could have saved it till Cinco de Mayo. Could have done that.
Yeah.
According to the sell by date, I cannot. So we're gonna do it
Okay,
now.
good. That's great. Well, perfect. Then you are
Never mind.
thrifty and doing the right thing. Is that all you're not mixing it with anything? You're just drinking it?
No, I was in a rush and I don't even know what to put this with, right?
Hmm.
What would you
Coffee.
put it with?
Coffee, I would do.
Coffee
You
would have
could
been
do like
Vodka.
you could do like
I don't
a,
like coffee now.
but you could do mix
Whiskey.
it with vodka. You could do kind of like
could
a
A white Russian.
yeah.
Sorry, a white Ukrainian.
You could do like a you could do like kind of like what's it like an espresso martini, but instead it would be like a churro martini.
That's true.
It
So you could
smells
do
really
that.
good.
Like a
for whatever
dessert
that's with.
martini.
Do you shake these?
I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you should.
It's not carbonated, so you can.
I'm glad I asked because that feels like that would have been real bad if it was like separated in here. But
Good.
Are you drinking it out of the appropriate thing?
What is?
What's
Just
the
the
appropriate
bottle.
thing? Just the bottle. It's an airplane
No.
bottle. You don't
A
drink
shoe.
it out.
It's a bottle for airplanes.
It's a bottle.
You
for
never had Bailey's in a shoe?
Oh, I've had Bailey's from.
Mm,
have you ever drank Bailey's in a shoe?
creamy.
What do you think of me? Make an
Yeah.
assessment.
Do you
Could
love
you
me?
love me? Oh man, old Greg. For those people that don't know, what
Yeah.
we're referencing. Go
Look it
watch
up.
Go
From-
watch it.
It's from the annals of the
Fantastic.
internet.
The
Yes.
anals. Yes, the anals.
The
Dan.
annals of the internet.
Yes.
I don't know how to feel.
Okay.
It
Tell us
tastes.
about it.
It doesn't taste like it smelled really good and
Mhm.
cinnamon forward. I'm just not getting the cinnamon like I wanted to. Like it's not. I'm not a big like creamy drink person, and that's kind of why I got this because I was like, if I'm gonna like it, I think I would like it with cinnamon, right? Because I really do like cinnamon flavors. But this is just like, I don't know. It tastes like nothing.
Coffee. I would put it with coffee. That would be good.
Yeah.
Like an.
I would put it with coffee. Maybe I don't like coffee. I would put it with coffee and maybe more cinnamon,
I'm
or in a
tempted.
hot
Oh,
chocolate.
hot chocolate.
Oh,
Yeah.
hot chocolate. That
Ooh,
would
yeah.
be good.
Hot chocolate, but then you would lose everything that was cinnamony here. Like it's really just not enough cinnamon. So you got to pound more cinnamon. If you're gonna call something cinnamon flavored, like I don't want it to
It's
taste
not-
like
It's not cinnamon
aftershock.
flavored. It's churro flavored. So it's got a
Okay.
light dusting of cinnamon sugar on it.
Okay, you're not wrong.
It should
I guess
taste mostly
in
like
that
deep
sense.
fried dough, to be honest.
Actually, it kind of does.
There we go.
Have a little
Now
bit
that
of
you
of
said
like,
that-
burnt,
They nailed
burnt
it.
Flavor.
That's the thing where I'm saying it tastes like nothing, because you know how like just dough doesn't taste like anything.
Mhm.
Sure, it does.
It's
Tastes
got
like
Some
that.
does. Some
Anyway,
does.
I'm done with my mouth noises. Sorry, guys. I just had to get that flavor profile.
That's all right. Just get closer to the mic and do more mouth noises, and then we'll be an ASMR
not-
channel.
Yeah, we're not that kind of channel, but yeah, not a thing I would ever buy again. I'll put it that way. But it's not bad. I think it just wasn't what I was expecting, and so I'm disappointed. So I'm going to give it a. I mean, I did take a shot of it, so it's pretty chuggable. But this product of Ireland gets.
This product of Ireland.
That's what it says. Yeah, gets 2 Irish flags on a flagpole when there should be 1 out of 10.
So you demanded a number system, then
Always.
immediately ignored
Well,
it.
I mean, she sort
No,
of used
2 out of 10. There should only be
oh,
1 flag on that flagpole, but there's 2, and
I
it could have
see.
been 10.
Gotcha.
Wait, why? Oh, hold on. So
Don't ask questions. Move on.
there should only be 1, but there could have been 10.
Could have
Yes.
been. There could have been 10 flags.
There's enough for 10.
I'm glad we all understand.
It's too many flags on the pole.
Okay,
I'm drinking Victory beer because
because you won.
we won, and it's a Victory's Brotherly Love Hazy IPA.
Nice.
And this hazy IPA brings bright citrus notes that flourish into a full tropical fruit character. It also brings a brighter side to life. We named this beer Brotherly Love after the city who made us to give back to the organizations helping local communities. With this beer, we're reinvesting in our backyard, and we hope you'll join us to drink some beer and do some good. So,
Aw.
yeah, proceeds go to a bunch of local, bunch of local charities and stuff. So,
Nice.
pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That's great.
And look, it
It's
has
hard to go wrong with Victory.
it's the Liberty Bell.
Liberty.
But it's made of hops. It's quite drinkable. It's a hazy IPA. Here's what it looks like. It's not the haziest of hazy IPAs, but it's pretty citrus forward. It's yummy. I like it.
Love a hazy IPA.
I love a hazy IPA.
I don't like the eye contact that happened with that statement.
Oh, I did.
I will only stare. Ooh, it's good. It's good. Chuggability, fairly high. It has a fairly high chuggability. I wouldn't like chug
That's
it,
all we need.
but it's fairly high. Yeah, I'm not going to use the stupid number system. That's not what I invented. So if Coffee were here, he'd be like, "Oh, here he is." I was about to say, if Coffee were here, and he immediately was here,
He appears.
came in at the right
Came in
time.
at the right time.
Because Coffee was like, "What's my what?" He's like, "What's the chuggability?" And I'm like, "If I use numbers, he'd be upset." So chuggability, fairly high chuggability. That being said, this is like I'm almost on my second one. And I just poured this, so whoops. Okay, great, cool. What's up, everybody? I just want to, before we move on any further, before we get into the games we've been playing, I want to let everybody know that up here in the Northeast, there's extremely high winds, gusts of up to 60 miles per hour in some places.
Yeah, we
So,
got some of those.
If at some point the stream stops happening, my power
Or
will-
Allison vanishes.
Or-
Or
That could also be related to
wind's
just riots.
just no, it's been nice. It's been good. It's been okay.
There's a little bit.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's got to be some, but like not crazy, you know. It wouldn't be Philadelphia without us tearing down some light poles, but other than that,
Yeah,
it's
valid.
great.
Valid.
pretty standard.
I mean, it's just regular Philadelphia stuff. So if the stream stops, my power went out. If any of their faces disappear, their power went out. So just
There
keep
you
that
go.
in mind. If everything
Valid.
stops, it's me. Boy howdy. What have we been playing? Guys? Anything new? Anything exciting? Let's go to Allison first.
I've been really into Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been playing a lot of that. I've gotten to gold. Ooh, and
Look at you.
I know, thank
Fancy.
you. It's my goal because I really do want to do the tournament. I know this is so lame. I don't know why.
No, you
I've
can
always
do the
wanted to-
tournament.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do like a competitive tournament. So I've always wanted to do the League of Legends one, but like I couldn't get a team together. And then when we did get a team together once, it really fell apart in a bad way that ended friendships. So like,
Yikes.
Wow.
League is toxic. I don't know. It's what
true.
it does.
Very true.
So like I just this game is fun in a way that I haven't had enjoyment in competitive games in a long time. Since like my Team Fortress 2 days, my Call of Duty days, the Overwatch original, like when it first came out, like the vibes that I have that for this game. So I'm really hoping that continues and they don't let me down. And I've been enjoying it a lot, even when I lose. I don't feel like I'm putting in so much time in these games that it really makes me sad. You know what I
understand.
mean?
I know that feeling. There's like,
Yeah.
because there's like, you play something long enough and hard enough, then it's like, you get into a point where you're just like, oh, can't believe I lost. And it's like, when it gets to that point, it's like, maybe you take a break for a little bit. But instead, whenever you lose, you're like, oh, shucks. Well, next game. You know?
Or Fee just starts the next game without you.
Yeah, without me. So I have to go do some quests, but he's like, next game.
That's his canonic burden to bear at this point. It will always be his thing. Yeah. So I'm really liking that. If anybody hasn't added me yet, I know I talked to some people and I don't think I've seen them add me. I posted my stuff in our Discord. I did, right? I'm not lying. Posted my Marvel Rivals in our Discord. If not, I'm going to repost it today just so everybody can have it. Add me. I would love to play. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a good time. That and I guess that's really the big game I'm playing right now. We're doing a little dabbles into other things, but
who have your mains been on that game?
So I am usually forced to be either Vanguard or a strategist. Once
for normal people, that means
heal or tank in this game. So the DPS roles, I have accidentally been forced into that once, and I play it so rarely that I ate shit. I'm not going to lie. I failed that team. I am so sorry to anyone who was on that team when I had to do it, because I just am out of practice because I'm so forced into these other roles. So Groot is my main Vanguard. I love Groot. He is so good. And then for strategist, I am doing Luna and Rocket Raccoon. Those are my two.
Strategist or strategist?
It's strategist. I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh, strategist, strategist.
I wasn't going to
Is
say
that
anything.
one of those words I say wrong? Probably. Yeah.
We're going to gloss over it, but okay, Chris.
Okay, thanks.
I was just wondering.
Yeah, way to go, Chris, you asshole.
What an asshole.
No, this is just one of those words I say wrong, and I only think about it for the rest of my life. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I could do that for you.
It's like the problem with people who read too many books. Sometimes they mispronounce words because they've read them and never said them.
No, that's me. Literally.
Yeah.
That's my problem is like a lot of the times, like how many times in your life have you ever had to say that word? I think this is it for me.
Often while playing Total War or...
Okay, sure. I don't play that. So
whenever I was playing like first person shooters, I would always like see where there was ammo and I would be like, oh yeah, it's an ammo cake. And I was like, someone was like, nope, CACHE, that's cash, bud. I was like,
I prefer ammo cake.
That'd be pretty good too.
Yum 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 yum. I eat up the ammo cake.
Yeah. I'm a girl who trained herself on books, so this will be my burden to bear again and again, and I accept it.
It's okay.
Being on a podcast.
All right, nice. Gray, thank you for joining us once again.
Of course.
What have you been gaming with recently?
So I've mostly been playing Marvel Rivals,
as is tradition.
But I am not anywhere near good enough to carry a team. So I get pretty frustrated trying to rank up after the whole.
Yeah,
I will
we need
be
to play
happy. I will be happy to play with anybody that is not completely ignoring what their role is.
Their job.
Yes. So I've taken a slight break and I've been playing Ocarina of Time on the Switch.
Nice.
Oh, on the Switch. Okay, nice.
Yes.
I was gonna say, is you whip out the old Nintendo 64?
I do have it, but I don't have. I'm
Wait.
trying to get a game room together where I have that just wall of like systems and everything, so it's not like hooked
Yeah.
up.
Yep.
But I still need my dopamine hit.
Yeah.
So I'll play it on the Switch for now.
Nice.
That's good. How's the how?
Who are you? Who are your mains in Marvel Rivals?
I only have one main
And that
because
is...
I know I'm not good enough to have multiple. And Moon Knight for me. So
Okay,
DPS.
that's good. I like me. I like.
He's a really good starting character anyway when you're getting into the game.
Yeah, I feel like he's pretty easy. He's got a lot of different things, and like once you kind of lock in on the whole, what are those things called? The things that he throws and you can bounce stuff off of.
Thonks.
Yes. Once you get like an idea of how you can get a couple of those out and really start hitting people, it's pretty nice. But yeah, simple, straightforward is my go-to all the time.
Nice.
I like simple and straightforward. That's cool. Very good. How's the control scheme on Ocarina of Time on the Switch? How is it playing with the Switch?
It's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, you're dealing with the only issue that really ever comes into play is you're dealing with, I should say, two things. One, whenever you're playing, you don't really have a C-pad anymore.
Right.
So it's like you kind of have to use the joystick, and there's always joystick drift. So whenever you're playing a song or something, you very easily mess it up or pull out the wrong item or whatever. And then the other thing is because they're so sensitive and they're so like all over the place, you can't really adjust the sensitivity.
True.
So you're trying to play on a very sensitive joystick for movement with something that was never very sensitive at all. You had to crank the N64 controller to get it to turn left or right.
Yeah.
And just and then the other question that I have is how do you get across Hyrule Field? Are you a roller or are you a back flipper?
I'm a horse guy.
Oh, okay. All
right.
How traditional and logical of
What
you.
are you doing?
I'm a back flipper. I go.
Oh, interesting. I'm a roller.
So I just look at Kokiri, like the first time you leave Kokiri Forest, I look at Kokiri Forest, and then I just hold Z and just go until I get all the way to Hyrule Castle.
I mean, I will roll until I get my horse.
I'm a roller as well, yeah.
And I think that's why in Majora's Mask I really enjoyed that you could be the Goron.
The Goron? Yes.
That was really cool. I love Majora's Mask. I think I saw Katie got a Majora's Mask tattoo.
Yeah, her tattoo. So yeah, I don't know if you've seen her on her right arm, she has no face.
Yes, I've seen
that.
That.
On this side, it's Majora's Mask.
It's that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh
so
man,
the tattoos are the best.
They are. I wouldn't get that as a tattoo. I still don't know what I'm going to get as a tattoo. If I do get a tattoo, it would probably be the outline of Sebastian's ears, like his little ear thing.
That's cool.
He's very cute.
That's cute.
That would be. I told Hannah, I was like, if you get that tattoo, I'll get that tattoo because it's just a line and it means something. I don't know what else I would get.
Yeah, whoever gets his own tattoo, that's a whole chest piece.
The little insignia on my tuba, the Hirschbrenner deer.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That's nice.
Chris, speaking of things you get, what games did you get and play?
So kind of related to playing older games on the Switch, I've been playing some of the Castlevanias, like older Castlevanias. So there's the Game Boy Advance collection. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it has Aria of Sorrow, Circle of the Moon, and one other one on it. So finish Circle of the Moon.
I like Circle of the Moon.
It was good, but apparently it's not canon.
It's not canon, but it's interesting because it uses like the card system for like your special abilities, which is really neat. I liked that a lot. So.
And then Aria of Sorrow, it very much feels like Symphony of the Night in which, I mean, more Symphony of the Night is not bad.
Yeah.
It has like things where instead of like getting like the weapons that you pick up, you can get like the souls of different creatures, and like sometimes you kind of have to farm them a little bit. But it's been pretty good so far. Whenever I go to Magfest, for whatever reason I kind of get sucked back into Castlevania. Just I guess because like the music in Castlevania is so good, and then I go to Magfest and there's music there. So then I just every time though.
Love it.
But then mostly what I've been playing recently has been Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Nice.
Which is so good.
Kingdom Come Deliverance as well.
So you play the same character you played in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. It's a peasant named Henry who, when you first start him in the first game, you suck at everything and you cannot read.
Nice. Love it.
So now, like, you in the second one, you kind of start as kind of like the page / escort of a noble that you meet in the first game, and they just did a really great job with, I mean, the history and the world building. I mean, obviously the world is just our world, but like in the 1500s, it goes around the time of King Wenceslas, as in the good King Wenceslas. And there's like a rebellion going on, and it's set in Czechoslovakia. But just like the combat system feels a lot better. That was one of the main gripes with the first game, was that it was just kind of a clunky combat system that was really hard to do anything with. They've made it a lot easier now, and still like fun and satisfying, but not just button mashing. And just like the quests are good, like everyone, like the villages feel real, and they did such a great job with it. You can tell they really care about it.
That's good. I think there's been like a renaissance of like games that come out that are like, hey, these people wanted this to be good, you know? So it's like, so it is good, even if it's not, and it's not big name developers. Like it's other people, and they're coming. I was like, hey, look, this thing I made. It's really cool, right?
Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry.
And they just did a really. It feels very much like a love letter to like Morrowind or Oblivion, but without magic, obviously.
Yeah, right.
But like just kind of similar. Like you can pick up things, and like the quests will kind of like tell you where to go a little bit, but will be a little bit vague. So you kind of have to like take context clues, and like the way you say things matters. And
nice. I like
a lot of passion went into it.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Highly recommended if you're into that sort of game, though.
Nice. I still never played Kingdom Come Deliverance. I have it on like 2 different systems, but I haven't played it at all because other things keep getting.
You should.
I will, but first I got to finish all these games I'm playing, which include the Path of Exile 2. I started that. I hadn't really played Path of Exile 1. I played it a little bit.
I played it some, yeah.
And then and I was like, this is pretty complicated. Whenever I first started playing, I was like, this seems pretty complicated.
It did feel complicated.
It's a little bit more. And then I started playing Path of Exile 2. I was like, yeah, this is complicated. But then I kept playing it, and I was like, ooh, I like this complicated. Like, it's interesting.
Did it make is it easier to understand than the first one? Like in the first one, it was like you would get items, and then they would have different gem sets, and like the gem sets would really determine like your abilities and
kind of. So in Path of Exile 2, you have a skill tree, as per usual. It's huge. I open it up and I scrolled all the way out. That's the first thing I do whenever I see a skill tree. I scroll all the way out to see how big it is. It's gigantic. It's crazy.
Oh God.
Chris needs to go change his shorts real quick. But your
skill tree. You're just happy to see me.
I just love a good skill tree.
But there's like a skill tree, so anytime you level up, you get points that you can put into your passive skill tree. But it then also has your moves are skill gems that you get. You find everything's like stuff you find. I think that's the coolest thing about it, where it's like if you want a skill, you find an uncut skill gem, and then you carve it into like whatever skill it is. So it's like, oh, I found an uncut skill gem that I turned into my like big slam, because I'm a big smashy boy. I'm playing a big smashy boy, as is tradition.
As you do.
And it's like it starts out as like, okay, you just have those skills, and traditional ARPG format where it's like, okay, you have to decide what type of this guy are you going to be? Like, are you tanky or are you more DPS-y? Because I'm playing by myself, I'm more DPS-y. But it's like, so all of the skills you get, it's like, okay, so here's a skill gem that I have for that. And then you can also get like modifiers that go into it. Now, different from like Diablo, whenever you have a skill, it's like, oh, you can do this thing, or this thing on this skill. It's like there's 3 things you can select. Instead, what Path of Exile does is it's like, oh, all the modifiers for this are this color gem. So you can do any of these modifiers that you want on this type of skill. So if it's like an attack skill, you could do any of these modifiers. If it's like an assist skill, you could do any of these modifiers. So there's like 25 to like 60 different modifiers you could select from. And they recommend some for you, but you could pick potentially any of those things depending on how you want to build your character, which is very cool.
Yeah.
And then the story is really cool. It's very dark. It's very, ARPG.
Would you say it's grimdark?
It's pretty grimdark. It's definitely grimdark. But yeah, I'm having fun with it. It's nice. It's good for like a parking grind. Like if I want to sit at my computer and just kind of grind up on some stuff and like hit some bad guys with exploding
Want to
skills.
grind up on some stuff, huh,
Just want to
Dan?
grind up on some stuff. And then this just came out. Technically, it hasn't come out yet. It comes out on Monday, Tuesday. But Avowed is the new game from Oblivion or Obsidian Studios. Excuse me.
About to say what?
It's the new game from Obsidian Studios, who you might know from. They do the Path of Exile series. They do
Path of Exile?
I think so.
Are you talking about Pillars of Eternity?
Pillars of Eternity. That's what I meant. What did I say?
Path of Exile.
That was the difference. I didn't mean that.
That was the thing you were just talking about. They also did New Vegas.
They also did New Vegas. They did
Outer World.
Outer Worlds.
Not to be confused with Outer Wilds. Different game.
I was confused.
So they made this. Avowed is kind of like what Outer Worlds is to Skyrim or like fantasy stuff, but it's Pillars of Eternity. So it takes place in you had Pillars of Eternity, then you had Deadfire, and now this is a different area called the Living Isles. But it takes place in that world.
Interesting.
And it is a like first person, hack and slash RPG. It's very fun. It really like it's not overly complicated.
Very colorful.
It is very colorful. And it has kind of what Obsidian does really good is with their RPGs, they make it an RPG where it's not like, how in games like what's Will playing right now? Mass Effect. It's like, oh, there's a good answer or a bad answer. It's like, no, there's just here's a bunch of different responses, and you can pick one depending on how you feel,
Yeah.
And it like
affects.
That's
kind of how like Kingdom Come is, and yeah, and that's kind of cool that it's not, it's a little gray.
Yes,
man,
and that's most of the answers are like sort of gray. Like it's like you could be snarky, but not snarky in a mean way. Because usually it used to be like, but if you want to be snarky, it was like, oh, that's the bad guy answer. But now it's just like,
oh, you're just being a goofy guy.
I'm just a goofy guy.
Goofy guy.
There was something that happened today where I was playing before we started the podcast. I was playing a little bit, and there was something where somebody said something. They said they were like, I've been here for this long, and I've been studying this, and this is this, and that is that. And one of the responses the response I selected was in brackets, stares off into middle distance. So I was just like, what?
I stopped listening.
So
did you like pre-order it or like buy
it's on Game Pass.
Oh, so it's already out on Game Pass, because I saw on
demo.
So it's not on Game Pass yet. It will be on Game Pass when it comes out. But if you sign up for like the premium upgrade, so basically I spent like $20 and then I could play it starting on Valentine's Day. So I've been playing it.
So you
for-
did that instead of hang out with Hannah. Got
That is true. Yes. Because
Smart man.
she is breaking up with me.
it.
Just kidding. We're getting married. We're madly in love. It's great. Everything is wonderful.
I'm so excited.
Yay. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's really fun. I like the dialogue. I like the story that it is. The combat is pretty. It's pretty simple, but it's not as complicated as some other like Skyrims and stuff like that. But it is like, you hack, you slash, you have special moves, and you have like companions who you can make do moves too, which is pretty neat.
That is cool. Do they have? Is it set in the same time? Like, do you see any of the people that you saw in Pillars of Eternity in this?
No, because it's a completely different area. Like, how so Pillars of Eternity, the first one was in one place. Deadfire was in a whole new set of islands. This is in the Living Islands, which is like a whole area.
I
But you
suppose
are
Dead Island, which has zombies.
that has zombies. But you are in Adiran, which is, I think that's one of the like larger contingents of like humans. So,
Who are alive.
who are alive
And not dead.
Not dead.
Yet.
But I recommend it. It's fun. It's fun. It's colorful. If you're playing on PC, remember to turn off ray tracing, because for some reason it turned on automatically whenever I had it on, and I was like, I didn't want that to happen. No wonder my
Oh,
computer
you
was
don't
working so
want ray
fast.
tracing?
I didn't. It makes my computer work too hard sometimes, and for this particular game, I'm like, I don't need it. So it's fine. Let's have regular shadows and reflections. But that's it.
But
I
ray
recommend-
tracing, Dan.
But ray tracing. Fine. Great. Perfect. Wonderful stuff.
Awesome.
We should probably
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I want to.
we should probably talk about our topic.
No.
Yeah, since we've
We're
been
real
talking
deep.
for about 40 minutes. What? It's your fault, time mistress.
I was gonna say we're 12 minutes behind, so this is
Still?
So really, we're only 30
Very
minutes
long.
deep.
no, because we started at 8:11, so
okay,
we're
that's
on
fine. We won't
time.
argue. We will just move on. Let's talk about our topic.
Look what you've done. Look what
She
you've
realized she was in the wrong.
done.
No, I still think we're over. We should go.
Yeah, we should.
The boop-a-doo boop,
Boop-a-doo boop indeed.
this is so guys. You know how the Super Bowl was last week, right?
Yes, the superb owl.
Apparently.
Yes.
The superb
I guess.
owl was last
Go
week.
Burbs won.
Go
I
Burbs.
don't pay attention.
But knowing that, Christopher
Mm.
put in the topic chat. He was just like, "Hey, like, what would be the Super Bowl of like video games? Like, if video games
Right.
was a Super Bowl."
Well, and it used to be. I feel like it used to be E3
I have qualms with that, but
because it's
I'll
not
let-
a sport.
well, I'll tell you why. So, but that made me question, like, what would be the Super Bowl of video games? And here's my thought as to why E3 was cool, and it was great, but I don't think it was the Super Bowl of video games, because they were all just there, and I don't know if they would be like fighting each other.
Okay.
Like,
I kind of thought of it as like, what is the biggest gaming event of the
Oh,
year?
okay. Is the Super Bowl the biggest sporting event?
In America.
In America, yeah. In the
Yeah, I
world,
guess-
absolutely not.
I guess when Chris brought the topic, I was really like mentally pigeonholed into the idea of like games literally versus each other, and also like
I guess I should have been more clear.
no, it was a topic that I was just trying to like wrap my head around how I interpret it, right? And at first I really was stuck because I was just like, well, it's the video game awards. That's where we decide the winners of categories versus
And the
each other,
losers.
right? And the losers. So that was where I was really stuck. But then, yeah, I've thought about it. I'm like, well, the Super Bowl is really a big sporting event that's like tiered war to the top. Sorry, I don't know sports, but that's the way I think of it. Like you go against each other and you get to the top. So then I realized like esports is really to me the equivalent of Super Bowling. But then to the point of Super Bowl is one sport. Do we have an esport in America that is like our Super Bowl, right?
Ooh, in
mean,
America.
I feel like at one hot second, like the game that everyone played was Call of Duty, so it might have been that, or like everyone was
We
playing
don't really have
PUBG, so it might have
esports
been that. But like, yeah,
tournaments.
and like PUBG's fallen off, and
It's hard to get them started for
Fortnite, I
esports.
guess. I don't
Ooh,
know.
no, I have an answer for that. At one
Mm-hmm.
point, every city in the United States had, or major cities had Overwatch
Overwatch.
teams.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they just stopped doing tournaments altogether.
right, because Overwatch became a garbage.
Because
But
Blizzard sucked.
That was a good
Horrible.
answer. I think that was a good answer because
Yeah.
Blizzard is like not really, but American Pie-ish in its like thought process
Yeah.
and gaming companies.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
But that's how it was at one point, right? So that makes a lot of sense. But now it like for me, I was thinking about it, and like right now we really have like Dota 2, Fortnite, Valorant, and League of Legends as like the top played tournaments.
Well, and I think I read that League had the peak viewership for a esports event at 6.86 million. in
Correct.
last year's World
Yeah.
Championship. So like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the American
cool.
teams really suck. So that's another point I wanted to make. It's like I want to say it's League of Legends, but like I'm not rooting for the American teams anymore. When I first started watching, I did. And their teams were something I was really rooting for, like Cloud9 and all these Team Liquid. Like I was rooting for them, and I loved the players, and it was like my Super Bowl, right? I'm rooting for my American team. And I've completely ditched them because they can't get their shit together. So why would I, start rooting for a team that's going to lose? I don't know if that's equatable to anyone with sports.
Oh,
Has anyone
absolutely.
switched their team because they were like, these guys suck, I'm just not going to do this anymore? Or do you guys stay really like true to that?
I have one baseball team. Well, I have two baseball teams. One is always the Orioles. If the Orioles are there, it's always the Orioles. But if they're not, then it's St. Louis.
But have you ever switched a team because you're like they're just losing all the time? I'm not interested anymore.
No.
Oh, like
It's-
completely abandoned the team?
The Orioles were garbage for a very long time.
Sometimes I think if there's like a big, because there's a thing where like franchises will switch like cities, which doesn't happen very often, but it does.
It does.
But the
Happened to Baltimore.
Yep, happened to Baltimore. But the but like I don't know. As a Philly person, I'm indoctrinated into.
Yeah, you only do Philly sports.
I like Philly sports. Like I
Yeah.
like Sixers, Eagles.
Also, Gritty's
Phillies,
awesome.
Flyers.
By the way. I just
Gritty
also
is the
awesome
best.
Gritty.
The best. He was voted the best mascot, like of all the mascots.
What is a Gritty?
Doesn't matter. We don't ask that
What
question.
is, what is a fanatic?
He's the best mascot. That's what the Gritty is.
Yeah, that's what he is. Listen, if you were in Philly, you'd know we don't ask questions. Okay,
We
just
get
accept
answers.
that there is a Gritty and there's a dance as well.
But,
So,
yeah,
like, I think that's where it kind of like diverges for me personally, because I always think when I think about Super Bowl and anything like that, any sport that's has like a big tournament or any sports fan, I'm like, I get it. I'm an esports fan, but I still think it's kind of different because I don't know. Like, yeah, you will get fanatics, but there's usually like fanatics for players, not even necessarily for teams. And the players sometimes swap around. Like some of them are pretty diehard. Like you're always going to get in T1, you're always going to have Faker. But like his team can fluctuate. And if they don't do well, they're going to get subbed out anyway. And like, so things like that where
he's like Ronaldo of League.
Exactly. She says, pretending she understands that.
Or Messi.
Or Tom Brady, you know.
Yes,
Yeah.
Or
Messi,
Brett
I
Favre,
get that
whenever
one.
they were all
Yes.
over there.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so like Ronaldo and Messi, I think have both like gone to different teams, like different football teams, non-American football, soccer. And like they basically just elevate whatever team they're on, and
Right.
yeah, and people are fans of them as players and not like the team as much. I feel like
Yeah. I think that's I think equating it to football, international football, not
Soccer.
yeah,
American soccer.
American soccer, worldwide football. I think that's a little bit more because I know many more people who are like who have football team fans that they'll like watch things for that isn't like hasn't no meaning to them aside from the fact that it's their favorite football team, you know. Whereas like my
Or
brothers are
like, or even when you were talking about you were rooting for the U.S. team.
right,
Right.
yeah,
That's kind of like what I would do in the World Cup.
Right. Yeah. But like I've changed my thought process because like when I first started watching, I was like, I root for apple pie, American team, go, yeah. And so that's what I did in the beginning. And I did really like some of those players. But now I'm finding that I'm really not loyal to teams. I've bounced around. So after I was in that like C9 Team Liquid fangirl moment, I then jumped to Samsung White, which was a Korean team.
Wow.
And Imp was my favorite player on that team. And
can I ask real quick, was
Yeah.
Samsung White sponsored by Samsung, or was
Yes,
that
they're-
just the name of their team?
yes, and actually
Okay.
like so Samsung White, yeah.
Is
And-
there like Samsung Blue and Samsung?
Yes.
Okay.
There was
Oh,
Samsung
no.
Blue, there was Samsung White, which is what I was going to say.
Well, I
So-
just guessed Blue.
Oh,
because,
wow.
like,
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
so I liked Samsung White, and then Samsung Blue came in after them because Samsung, like their team was doing so well, no one could beat them. So then they made another team, and
Compete
Coffee actually saw them in Korea when he was stationed there, and he got me
cool.
Thunder Sticks for Samsung White, which I have.
Oh,
I
I
nice.
should have brought them
Nice.
over,
Yeah.
but they're in my closet right now, and I forgot to. But yeah, so like I was a big fangirl. Then they made Samsung Blue, so then Samsung White and Blue were always like tops. And then I think they made a rule that you can't have sponsored teams, more than one sponsored team from a company, because it was so boring. Every World's tournament looked like it was going to be Samsung White versus Samsung Blue at the end. It's like, will Samsung win or will Samsung win? This sucks. So they
Yeah.
kind of
That's
changed
kind of
that.
how like F1 is though right now, isn't it? I don't
Yeah,
pay a lot of
kind
attention
of.
to F1 super closely, but I feel like it's always like
I
a
see.
couple teams.
I get
that are at
there's
the top.
there are so many people who watch F1 apparently because on Reddit, on the most popular pages on Reddit are usually F1 stuff, and I'm like, I don't know
It's
who
that
these people
it's
are.
that Drive to Survive show on Netflix.
That
Oh,
did
that's
boost
right.
its popularity quite a bit. But I will say that whenever it comes to it's obviously more predominant in the European countries with football, but in the Americans, I think it used to be back in the day that you had that player you liked, and then if they defected from your team, they were like dead to you. Like if they ever came and played in their old hometown, it was horrible. But I think since the introduction of fantasy football, where you
Mm.
make your team out of multiple players from multiple teams, and that I think a lot of people have like kind of lost that prejudice.
Fantasy American football, to be clear.
Fantasy American football, I apologize.
I mean, I'm sure there's fantasy. There has to be
I'm
fantasy.
sure there is.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I was clarifying. that we were talking
International football.
Yeah.
But
Um,
is it so hard to have an esports, Super Bowl, quote unquote, because games are so hot and cold when it comes to popularity, though?
Well, I think it's, and I wrote this down as a note. I think it's hard because like everyone's gaming preferences are so different. Like even among this group here, there are a handful of games that we got to play together, but like there are a lot of games that a lot of us don't overlap on. And
Yeah.
so like to find a game that would be interesting and popular enough for like the country to tune into would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Like and like with the Super Bowl, it's also like it's not just about the game, it's about the halftime show. It's
Oh,
about
so
the
good.
advertisement. It was so good.
Dude, the halftime show was like we all know now. I'm sorry, tangent. We all know that Drake's a piece of shit. Like now, but
Oh,
like,
yeah.
there was a potential
It's
for
so good
him.
to see him.
I mean, but there was like
Bash.
a slight potential for him to come back from it, and then a stadium of like millions of people all sang A minor
The entire
at the same time. It's like, oh god, you're done.
Yeah.
Just leave. Just go back
And
to
that's
Canada.
why at the end it says game over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like, how about you make a job in like finance or something? Because like this just isn't going to work anymore for you. I'm sorry.
Hey, he dropped an album like 2 days after that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
but like to that point, like, and that is why I think League of Legends World Championships is the closest thing.
I would agree with that
because they have a halftime show.
They do, and I love the songs that they make because they always make a
is it like
theme.
KDA or is it?
No, it's different every time.
Whoever it was, I think this last year it was. Oh, I know 2 years ago was Lil Nas X, right? What was it this year?
Oh, so they have like legit halftime shows.
Yeah. So Lil Nas X actually wrote a song for League of Legends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, there was some of the artists for the TV show. They wrote songs.
Yeah. Lincoln
and those
Park,
are all unique songs. Yeah, Lincoln Park was this year.
Lincoln Park was this year. Heavy as the Crown was the song that they wrote.
Yeah. So they hire
what?
For the show or for
for Worlds.
For Worlds.
Wasn't Heavy's the Crown also in the show?
They probably played it in the show. Yeah, it's like I think it was an opening song or something.
I don't think so. I don't think it was.
The Crown.
I hear it so much it's hard for me to know.
I recall Heavy's the Crown being in the show.
It could have been, but
Coffee
it was
says
definitely.
It was.
Oh, wham. All right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was definitely written for that year of League of Legends. So they hire an artist, like a known artist, a good artist, or they do like KDA or Heartsteel, where they put a bunch of artists together as different characters from the game.
There's a band called Heartsteel.
Heartsteel is amazing. I will show you that.
That's amazing.
It is so good.
Come on,
like
man.
It's such a
course
bop.
there
Not only
is.
the best item in the game, it's a band.
Yeah, it's a band. So like, and they do that. Like, it's these really cool nods to the fans, and then they perform at the Worlds. And they'll have other performing artists. Like they had what was the name of the Korean group? New Jeans. New Jeans did a song at
BTS. Oh, what's the name?
No. But like big artists are performing at the start and at the middle point of their
That's
games.
Really cool. I like that.
So like one of the last year, T1, Kiria, he's the support for T1. They asked him like, why do you want to win this year? And he goes, because I want to meet New Jeans, which was like the Korean girl group. He was like, I really want to win for New Jeans. And that way he could meet them. So he did get to meet them because they won. But anyway, it's like it's really like cool. And I think that's the closest thing to the Super Bowl. And when I'm watching it, I'm getting those vibes people talk about when they watch the Super Bowl. Like I'm really in it and I'm excited. But it's really interesting because although the teams that won the Worlds tournament right now I don't know what they call it in sports, but in the spring split that they're doing right now where the teams are playing against each other. March Madness, there you go. So
that's basketball, but that's fine.
It's basketball.
Yeah, sure.
March Madness.
Sports, I don't know. So they're doing that right now, and all the teams that were like really good at Worlds are not doing well in that.
That's kind of fun.
So, or they're doing okay. Like they got knocked out
of practice.
So, yeah, or they're trying new things or whatever. So it's just like it's really like the ebb and flow of watching it is so interesting. And I did want to bring up what Coffee said here because he actually has seen one of the Worlds in person. So he said, I can confirm at the T1 meet and greet. There was one player that had no fans, so I went in his line to get a quick picture.
Aww.
The faker who was the Messi. The faker line was hundreds of fans long, and a lot of them have presents to give him. Yeah, I've watched his fan signings. It's just like little gifts and like craziness.
Yeah. Hey, if you ever meet me and you're like a fan or whatever, you could just give me presents. I'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take presents. We like gifts.
Presents. I like presents.
On here.
Now we announce Dan's P.O. box that he just opened.
Kwati said 90% of their halftime shows are Imagine Dragons. Okay, it was like twice. I get what you're saying.
Well, yeah, because they did the theme song and blah, blah, blah.
Well, they did the first one. In 2014, they did the first World's theme. Imagine.
And they did another song too.
Well, they did
Rise was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they did another song. I know they did. They performed
Side note-
again with one of their just normal songs, not a league song. They just
Side
performed
note,
again.
For Arcane, they had a guy named Marcus King who's in like the Southern rock / jam band scene, and I was real pumped about it when I saw it. I heard it in Arcane.
Dude, yeah. So,
Anyways.
oh no, I'm going to tangent. We'll talk about it while we're playing our game. I was
Sure,
going to
yeah.
tangent there, and yeah, we can talk about that. Bring it up
Yeah.
again, Chris, or I'll
I
forget.
will.
I do have a
But-
question.
Go ahead.
Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt you, Chris.
You're good.
Do you guys think it would be easier instead of a Super Bowl format for gaming? Could be more like an Olympic format because there's so many different
Or
games.
would it be the same
Interesting.
teams competing in different games? Because I kind of like.
I mean, who knows? But it's just the
I
fact that there's like first person shooters and like all these different
I like
things.
that actually.
Could that be a turning point where it just becomes
it's like gaming championships, and it's just like
just in
Here's-
general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's what I want. I'll tell you what I want, and then make it happen, world.
Yeah, of course.
So the Nintendo Championships that used to exist, which I don't know if they still do them or not, where it would basically be like that you'd get like a little section of each game. Like you remember this, where it's like, oh, you'd play World 3-6 of Mario, and then be
Yes.
like, okay, then you got to do Tetris. It's like, okay, then you got to do F1. I want it to be that. I want them
You
to
want
take,
like a marathon, like what is that triathlon? Except
Yeah.
with games.
yeah, I want like a decathlon of games. I want like 10 different games, and I
Hmm.
want you to be good at all of them in a specific way.
I disagree. Actually, I think I.
Whoa!
I think I actually said like what Gray like. was saying.
I don't know if
They're
I.
against each other for once and not
Yeah,
me.
for once. Like the idea of having like the best in the world competing, and like it's like, and you can go to different channels and see. Oh, okay,
Right.
they're playing
Ooh,
Call
that
of
would
Duty
be
on this one.
cool, though.
They're playing
Right.
Hearts of Iron on this one, and like
Yeah.
it's just like the best in the world playing all at the same time,
I agree.
Olympic style. That would be fucking.
That
dope.
would be pretty sick. I would.
Yeah.
I'd be more interested in that than an E3 or like games showcase
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
like okay, so $1 million idea. Give us a cut, world. Here we go.
Well,
Like we've come up with it. So I
Yeah.
think that's what it
TM.
needs to be.
TM.
that ever thought about.
TM
Wi-
trademark
yeah,
TM.
Trademark.
Um,
So, like
so-
I feel like it's going to need to be broken down just because that's how the world works. We're going to
Sure.
have one for PC console PC games, one for PlayStation games, one for Nintendo games, and one for Xbox games because they won't want to play well with others. Let's get
That's
real.
true. Well, Rivals already
well,
stopped us
there-
from
there
doing
were-
that.
Yeah, there would also
but
be
then there
so
will also
much.
be an intermixed one.
Oh, okay. So there's one.
Yeah,
that's
but
like for
there's
everything.
going to be so many things where like, oh, PCs are on steroids.
No, well, that's the tool of the trade.
I agree, but it's
Yeah, so-
I feel like Allison's right that there would be too much
Yeah,
back and
switch overlap.
forth.
So I
Well, no,
think
there would be individuals, but then there would be also like a
We have.
combined.
We're using personal computing enhancing devices.
Yes.
PC.
yes.
These.
Um,
These nuts.
I will
Oh! Got him. Freaking
say
got him.
How many
That-
how many Stan had?
just once.
Salty.
I'm having a good time. I'm so sorry. I'm having such a good time.
I will say that this is not the direction I thought the conversation was going to go. So, like, in that, like, I was, like I said at the beginning, kind of thought of it as, like, what's the biggest event of the year? And, like,
Mhm.
E3 used to be the biggest event.
Yeah.
And because of, like, the, I don't know if this is a word, no, this is fine. The fractured nature of gaming and how everyone kind of does their own thing. Like, it's hard to do one big thing. So like, yeah, it kind of has to be something like the Olympics of gaming,
Mhm.
where you have multiple things at the same time. And it's just hard to get one event now that does all of that.
It's
Right.
true. It's true.
I think we will get there eventually, though. I know it's very hard, especially in the past, to get sponsors and whatnot. But I think a lot of people, I mean, even the fact that League is getting these halftime shows and
Well,
like
it's-
all these good people, right? I think it's getting to a point where there will be a natural progression that people will want and demand that kind of entertainment. It's just that I think it would just have to be the first couple times just might struggle. But if you have good backers, I think it'll become one of the big things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, to put this in perspective, the Super Bowl this year averaged almost 128 million viewers.
Right.
Whereas the peak of the biggest event like it in gaming had 6.8 million.
Right.
Which,
interesting.
So it's got some ways to go.
Right. Oh, nice coffee.
Thanks,
I'm so
Coffee.
happy you're here.
So 2024 League World Championship had 6.8 mil.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's comparable. But like I think like as far as E3 goes, and again, I started there where your brain is at as well, and then I couldn't really broaden the topic, and then when I changed my thought process, I kind of went this way. So sorry, this kind of tangented.
No,
but
no.
Funny that like it's funny that broadened it for you, whereas like that made it more specific for me.
Yeah. So, but I think if we're replacing E3, if that is the question, what replaces E3? The Summer Game Fest showcase, because that's really what E3 was. It's just a showcase of games, right? Is that?
I mean,
they're trying to replace E3.
And I think here's the thing is I think we've talked about that before. I think we've talked about how with like E3 is gone. What's the new thing? We've done that.
Like Gamescom's huge.
Gamescom is huge.
I think the biggest thing that's the biggest event now is in Brazil.
True.
It had like 330,000 attendees last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and this is why I have to apologize, because if you wanted to steer it a different direction, but I steered it into this direction that we currently went in because I felt like we had some legs here, and I think
I have great legs.
You?
I love your legs.
Prove it.
We can't see them. We
Prove
have
it.
to assume.
Put those.
No. I can't. That's the paid portion.
Children.
Feet people.
Paid portion.
Feet people. It's coming.
People, but definitely extra
people. But I think because like with E3, all that kind of stuff, really, I think that era is past. Like everyone's doing their own thing. We have like the PlayStation Showcase, the Nintendo Directs. We have Xbox Directs. We have all these things. It's like we're in a new era of this kind of stuff. So I do think that with esports, this is a great time for that to blossom into its own thing. Like we could have these huge, like League is increasing. Hell, a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons sold out Madison Square Garden 2 nights in a row.
Right.
D20, baby.
Like 5 years ago, they were doing rooms of 100 people.
Right.
Yeah. They sold out Madison Square Garden in 2 days, 2 nights. That's it. Sold
that's
out.
The power of the new media.
And
there's so many venues now.
And unless
shout out if anyone wants to watch something, watch Dungeons and Drag Queens. By the way, amazing.
Oh, Dungeons and Drag Queens is so good.
So good.
So good.
Or just
good for new players as well.
I need to mention 20 season also.
If you,
that's true.
If you're
those are so known though.
Honestly, if you're new to Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeons and Drag Queens is really good because most of them are beginners, and also the first season of Fantasy High is really good for that too because it's like most of them are new.
Half the team is, half the group is new.
Yeah. And Dungeons and Daddies is also great. If you listen to podcasts, that's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. In fact, it's my next D&D thing I want to do is a Call of Cthulhu with you guys. So I have an idea of that. But because that's their current season.
I've never called Cthulhu.
Well, good, because only every single person who watched our last one wants to be a part of it. So we'll have to figure that
out.
But yeah,
this is the sole reason I wanted to be part of this.
So he can get in on that.
Yes.
I just want to be DM'd by Dan. Please.
So
bad.
Please, Daddy.
DM me, Daddy.
No comment. I'm gonna just.
That's smart.
I guess. And what is your like? Do you have a personal gaming Super Bowl each year? I think Allison and mine's is the same.
What is that?
MagFest.
MagFest
is my personal gaming, like the big event of the year for me.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. Like if we're talking literal, it's the League of Legends Championships, World Championships.
Yeah.
But as far as like something
like your personal
my personal big gaming thing of the year, absolutely MagFest.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have one personally.
I think for me, it's probably the one weekend where all of the wives and girlfriends are away for the Mongoose Omelet crew, and we can play just video games all weekend with each other.
Do you schedule that, or do you schedule them to go away, or does it just happen?
It just happens. Usually, it just happens. Weekend. Like Brad and I will just be like, "So we're gonna play video games like for fucking ever this weekend, right?"
Yeah. So that a little bit happened to me last weekend because Katie was going to a bachelorette party.
Yes.
And Tyler and I were both playing. We were both playing our separate games of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2
next to each other. Classic.
And we played for 40 hours.
Oh my
nice. That's what's up.
Gray, what about you? What's your
here I don't know if I really have a like time.
I should get you one.
I feel like I should. I need to go to MagFest one of these years.
You should.
But it's just one of those things where I there's just certain things I get excited about, like with Nintendo and stuff like that. So if like a new Zelda's coming out, I'm super hyped.
I'm so hyped for a new. I love mainline Zelda games.
Yes, they're just fantastic. Dude, you know the amount of money that I would spend if they did an HD like Switch import for Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time.
Dude, if they did a
it would make so much money.
If they did an
if
they did an HD Switch re-release of the freaking oh god.
Words.
The one with the baton.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
No,
if they did a
Wind
Wind Waker
Waker
re-release for the Switch, I'd be on
Also that
shit tomorrow.
Dude, I don't even.
That's literally why I bought a Wii U.
I know.
For that game.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Coffee also said Wind Waker. I'm like, I can remember things sometimes.
Eventually.
But
yeah, I don't really have anything that like sticks out. Like that's a constant year to year. There's things throughout the year that I do get excited about, and they become like exciting weekends. Like if something drops, or if I get a chance to have those weekends, like you guys talked about, where kind of like everybody's schedules lined up, and you can just kind of game the way we used to back in the day with LAN parties. But nothing that's really constant with everything that's going on.
Yeah. No, we've been very fortunate with MagFest, and the crew that we've had. It's been very consistent over the years.
Well, next year you might get a Dana,
couple more.
a Dana Rats,
a Dana, and
when we don't
maybe
have
Gray.
a fucking wedding to plan.
Yeah.
I
Luckily,
can't wait.
we have plenty of space usually.
We usually have plenty of space.
The last 3 years, we've had plenty of space. So.
We've been very fortunate.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep crossing my fingers on that.
Nice. Very good. All right. Cool. Well, Chris asked the last question of the podcast. So if you are out there in listener world and you have heard, what's your biggest gaming event of the year? Is it an esport? Is it a conference event? Is it just playing games is it LAN partying with your buds whenever your wives are out of town? Let us know.
Or when your
I love
husband's out
that.
of town.
Get my wife out of town, guys.
I'm so sorry.
God damn it, Dan.
I'm so sorry. That's
Get him out.
I gotta get I gotta go.
It's 2025, Dan.
I know. Right. It's 2025 and we live in America. It's a friggin'.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, MagFest OP.
MagFest OP.
Oh god.
MagFest for me was
next year.
We need to talk about MagFest because we haven't yet.
MagFest
was very key for me this year. It was awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next episode.
Yeah, next time we'll talk about it because I do want to hear it, and the listeners want to hear it. They want to hear all your stuff. Ooh, Coffee says link a wedding registry when you have one. I'll pitch into it. I mean, I'll put my wedding registry.
He's gonna Zelda our wedding registry.
I'm gonna Zelda it. I'm gonna chic it. That's way
fine. I got a couple of them shields
because that's when you think about it. Chic was really my introduction to like
cross-dressing.
Well, no, transgender person. You know, when you think about it.
Info was my introduction to a transgender. No.
All these weird feelings.
But this but I will I'll put that. Hey, if you want to like give us money for our registry, I'm totally into it. I'll put it in the Game Brew stuff. But this is the Game Brew podcast. If you're listening to it right now, good job. You did it. You made it. You get an achievement. Here's the achievement noise.
And we love you for it.
We love you for it. Here's the achievement noise. And it goes something like this. Bing bong. All right, there you go. That's your achievement.
Is that our achievement noise?
Why not?
Sorry. Achievement. And for that, you can also share it with your friends. Tell your friends to go listen to the Game Brew podcast. You can listen to it on your favorite podcasting medium. That just look for the Game Brew podcast, and you should be able to find it. We're on everything. Or you can tune in every couple weeks with us semi-regularly. This last month was a little crazy, so this is a little nuts. But every other week, we're right here. And you can also join our Discord by going to bit.ly/discobrew, bit.ly/discobrew, and you can join there. You can talk to us. You can share pictures. I do recommend if you post pictures, 0 context, just picture, 0 context. That's how we prefer it.
the best.
And ask us questions. You can chat with us about what we're doing. You could share what you're doing. Tell us like your favorite games, any of your like biggest, successes in games. We've got a bunch of different areas for you to do that kind of stuff. So come on in, hang out with us. Every once in a while, we're in there just playing games too, and you can just come in and join us. It's pretty fun. That's it. I think that's it for the Game Brew stuff. You could send us emails to thegamebrew@gmail.com. I don't know if anyone gets them, but you could send them.
I don't get them. I don't have access, so I don't get those.
A little bit of a
listen. There's a lot of passwords we do not remember, so just keep that in mind.
Wow.
I would say that
purposefully
Discord's
not remembered our
the
our
Discord's
Twitter.
the best place to contact us. So do it there. Great. Allison, anything to plug?
I'm on Twitch, twitch.tv/Vanalia, but I'm sure most of you know that. But if not, feel free to give me a follow. I will be playing lots of games. I don't know what.
Period.
Just lots of games. Probably Marvel Rivals, if I'm being honest.
Nice.
And then Fee got me a new gift game, so I'll be
What is
playing
it?
some of that.
What is
Is it Welcome
is it?
to Gloom Town? He's not paying attention.
The aerial picture
I don't
of
know.
him in the background.
Welcome to Gloomhaven.
Welcome to Gloomhaven. Is that it?
That's
a
a
game.
game. It's a
Gloomhaven.
board.
Gloom-
That's a board game.
Bloomtown. Bloom with a B. That's why I was wrong.
Bloomtown. That's a very different game.
That's a very different game. Yeah, Bloomtown.
That is a very different game.
Yeah, it looks amazing and cute. It's very like
Yeah, right.
we watched a trailer for it a long time ago and I forgot it existed, and then he got it for me, so I'm excited. It has a corgi companion, which is amazing.
That's so.
And
cute.
then it has like super what's the name of the cartoon vibes? What's the name of the cartoon vibes that it has? Oh my gosh, the
Cartoon
one,
by Stranger Things.
huh?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Thingsy, yeah. That kind of thing.
like it's like there's like an inverse world that you go to, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Cool.
So it'll be really fun,
upside
and I'll probably
down.
play that on stream.
Ooh, that looks creepy. I looked at a few things and it's like cute but also spooky, and I like it.
Yeah.
That's very Allison vibes to me.
Right?
That's
so
what-
I'm excited to play it.
That's why Fee knows you so well. He's like, this is
It's true.
he's like, this is Allison, but in game form. Great. Anything that you would like to plug?
Maybe eventually. We'll see. I'm working on some things.
Okay, so
I'm trying to get-
drains,
Can't wait to
trying-
see it.
Trying to get some
Drains.
things.
hair,
Yeah, that kind of thing.
power.
I need
Those
to
are
get
things-
my stash back before I can.
I
really
was gonna
come
say,
back.
it's like whenever you came on, and I was
Throw
just
me
like,
off.
your facial hair is different. And like in my head, I was like, I couldn't point out what it was, and I was like, wait a minute, your whole thing was the stash, and it's gone.
I know. Work related. I'm trying to fix it.
Gross. All right.
I
Work.
know.
Boo. That's like whenever work made Allison not dye her hair fun colors, and I was like, that's stupid. Dye your
It
hair
is.
fun
It
colors.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I hated it.
Yeah. Chris, do you have anything to plug?
I don't.
Great.
Drink Natty Bow.
Drink Natty Bow.
His
Tell my
leg
leg.
literally plugs it every day.
Hashtag Chris plugs it. The
That
would be and then I'll personally I'll plug my my Twitch, twitch.tv/tubecrazed, TUBECRAZED. You can come and just hang out with me on Thursdays with my brothers. We'll play Marvel Rivals, we'll play Call of Duty. Sometimes we just kind of hang out and do whatever. Usually it's me and Brad, and then we're like waiting for our brothers to join in and be like, what do we play? So yeah, come and hang out. I do not have a lot of followers, but if you want to just chill out and watch some
I
Call of Duty
follow.
stuff, you do. It's
a good
totally
space to
fine.
come
Totally
hang.
fine.
Can
It's a
vouch
good.
for it.
It's a good.
My
hanging
lights are
space.
flickering. No promises about.
About playing.
Listen, mine were flickering for a very long time, and we're still good. All right, so that's it for the plugs. If you have any questions for us, let us know. Otherwise, we are going to end the podcast the way that we always end the podcast, which is by saying
Good night.
good night, everybody.
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 We get
don't-
worse and worse at
But
singing.
don't leave now.